It's really hot. It's hard to put together your thoughts when it's really hot and humid. You're filming. Do you see if I'm sweating? Ooh. You thought that was highlighter? No, it's just sweat. Just sweat. Hi, my name's Nix. So, I finally finished a series. It's been a while since I finished a series because I haven't been reading a lot of books, and that is the Mara Dyer trilogy. Mainly this book. It took me a while to actually finally pick this book up and finish it. I've been reading the series since 2014. I've read these first two books. I read the first two books back in 2014 and I reread them again this year because I forgot what happened. And I actually like the first two books, especially when the first time I read it, because back then I had a phase, what you can call a paranormal phase, because I watched a lot of Teen Wolf, Supernatural, American Horror Story, and when I started reading this, it really intrigued me. Plus, I think 2014 was the time this book was hyped on social media and booktube and Goodreads, and I jumped in that bandwagon and I'm glad I did because I liked it. But fast forward to 2019, I'm a bit disappointed because of the last book. I guess it didn't live up to the first two books. It's one of those series that even though I like how it ended, there's just something missing. In the first two books, our main character, Mara Dyer, she discovered she has this supernatural abilities that she can kill people just by thinking of how they will die. And she mostly blames herself, but at the same time, she can't do anything about it. Oh, you wronged me, so I'm gonna think of ways to kill you, but I'm not actually gonna kill you. But then she did, and then she feels guilty because it feels like she did kill them, which she did, but she didn't really meant to. And what the third book was actually trying to do was to explain how Mara got her powers, as well as the other main characters like Noah and Jamie. They also had these amazing abilities, which differs from Mara, but they have the same gene. But it just became a sci-fi novel. For the first two books, I would categorize them as paranormal romance, young adult book. But then the third book just jumped to another ship. We're a sci-fi book now. I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, the epilogue of the series, minus the smut scene, wink wink, it did wrap up the series very nicely, especially in the prologue of the first book where Mara was telling you that Mara wasn't really her name, but my lawyer said I should choose one because she's telling her story. Because she's telling her story. So I would give this series an overall 3.5 stars, especially because of the last one. If it's just the first two books, it's probably a 4.5 for me. I admit that when I reread the first two books, I was slightly disappointed that I didn't enjoy it as much. I don't know, maybe because I grew up or grew out of it, or grew out of this kind of genre, or maybe because I read better books. But one of the main saving grace of this book is the way the characters were written. I mean, they were there. I don't think there was a boring character, unlike some YA books that mainly just focuses on the main characters and the love triangles, and everybody's just bland as frick. So my battery just died, so I have to change the battery pack. Anyway, I actually don't know where I stopped recording or filming, but I'm gonna do my best. I don't know, there were a lot. I guess there's a better way of explaining things rather than just throwing information just so for the sake of the plot. I don't know. It could have been better. there was a part in the third book where we get to experience a different point of view. I mean, it's still technically Mara's point of view because it's in her dream, but in her dream she was her grandmother, and I was really curious about on how it happened, on how it actually happened, because it's really vague. Those scenes were just like glimpses, and it could have, I don't know, it could have been better. And the spin-off series that we have, I think it's about Noah Shaw, and I would have loved to actually read more about Mara's grandmother. I don't know, maybe I should read it one more time to actually understand the series better. I don't know, maybe I'm just dumb, but it became a sci-fi book. From a paranormal murder mystery, it became a sci-fi book, so we jumped from one genre to another. I mean, I'm not complaining about reading a sci-fi book because I do love reading sci-fi books from time to time. It's just that the change of pace and the way Mara was acting from protagonist to antagonist, we see her character deteriorate, especially from the choices she made when they escaped the, no, not the asylum. Well, I guess you could call it asylum. I do like the covers though, so even though I'm probably never gonna reread the series again, I read this twice, this once, but the cover is really nice. Even though I'm probably never gonna reread the series again, I'm gonna keep it because it looks nice on your shelf. Plus it's hardbound. I mean, it's not all that bad. Would I recommend this to someone? Probably my sister's friend. My sister is more into fantasy, and this is more like a sci-fi, paranormal, romance kind of book. But one of her friends also likes reading books, and she likes this kind of romance, and I think she would enjoy it. And I would still recommend this to other people just for the romance itself. I know it's not the ideal relationship because there were times that I just want to push Mara out because, or Noah, just sometimes, I don't know, they're teenagers. Sometimes they do stuff that they don't really mean to, but you know, they're kind of good. Are they my favorite ship? No. But the saving grace of this entire series, I tell you, is Jamie Roth. If there could be another spin-off series, I want it to be him. I mean, Noah's good. Noah's okay. Would I read the spin-off series about Noah? Maybe. If I like the first book, I would probably read the second book as well. But the thing is, I like reading reviews. And if the review is bad or a negative one, I easily get swayed. And a lot of people said that it's not good. It sort of reads like a fan fiction. And I can't help but to think that it might, when I started reading it, that it might be a lot worse than the original trilogy. I don't know. I would still want to give it a try, but there are a lot of books gathering dust on my shelf waiting to be read, and I would want to prioritize them first. So, as usual, I'm a mess, but that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye. Maybe I will read them again in the future. I mean, I have annotations. The pink ones are sexy times, or, you know, when they kissed. Well, it's better than Hush Hush. That series is still on hold. I don't know if I'll ever go to finish it. I got Until Silence, the third book out of 4 books. So, smut scenes, sex scenes, wee sexy times. Y'all probably like that, huh? Sexy times on YA.